I had seen the Unlucky Tug do a video in which he lists off some interesting facts about each episode of Thomas the Tank Engine. As of this video's recording, he had done a video that covered the classic series, which is seasons 1 through 7, and another video in which he covers the hit era, which is seasons 8 through 12, as well as the Jack in the Pack series. And I know that he will eventually do one for the CGI series, though he hasn't done it yet as of the recording of this video. I was a bit inspired by what he was doing, and I had decided to do something similar for the Kuno the Tank Engine series. So what I'm going to be doing here is that I am going to be listing off one fact about every user who had appeared in the original Kuno the Tank Engine series. I will also be including the users who had appeared in my mock-up of Part 18 because I really feel as though the users who appeared in that episode really should have gotten adapted during the time that Felix Chang was still making the Kuno the Tank Engine videos. It would have been satisfying to see a lot of those users get adapted. But in any case, let us begin. Now you might be wondering, what order am I going to be doing these users in? Well, I'm not going to be doing it in the order that they appeared originally, and I'm not going to be doing them in the order they appeared in the 2024 revision, or in the order that they appeared in Generation 2. I'm not even going to be doing it in alphabetical order. I'm going to be doing it in reverse alphabetical order. That's right, I am going to start from the letter Z and work my way all the way down to the letter A. So without further ado, let us begin. Zeldio. His actual username was never used in any version of Kuno the Tank Engine. In the original version of Generation 1, he is referred to as his brother's username's brother. While in the 2014 revision, he is given a coded name, while in Generation 2 and the 2024 revision, he is given the name Zeldio, which is a combination of Zelda and Mario, two of the most well-known video game franchises by Nintendo. Zelda. She killed Hectan!
Good.
Your Mama Luigi. His username is inspired by an internet meme based on a certain green Italian plumber.
That's Mama Luigi to you, Mario!
The user whose name says that we are going to die now. In the original Kuno the Tank Engine, he is called the New Engine. However, Force44 is a Fool also appeared in the same episode as YAGTTN. And Rosie was introduced later than Neville. XX5M. Their name has nothing to do with Friendship is Magic. Wooden Train Fan 3. His Erdl model is just Bluebell with an added face, as the original Erdl Bluebell model has no face. WMG. They apparently don't want Russia to listen to most Thomas songs beyond the classic series, as well as a few during the classic series.
I'm banishing you to the Shadow Realm.
No!
Much better.
William Shank. If you made any Shining Time Station parodies in 2010, you may know of something this guy did. Wilbert Veer Audrey. His channel was named after the original writer of the Railway series. Werhutch 3. His real name is Jamie, but he prefers his nickname Zexian. Vulgar62. On the wiki, somebody kept adding in the category grumpy characters due to him appearing with a grumpy face in all of his images. I removed this category as I didn't think it was needed, but it kept getting added back until I added this warning that if anyone added this category back, they'd be blocked. This was also the case for Don't Know It 62, Baby Burton, and Dark Slug. Victoria. When Felix Chang had originally done Victoria and Kuno the Tank Engine merchandise, all of her merchandise was just my merchandise recolored yellow, as Isabella had not been officially released in any form of merchandise at the time. She would eventually, but that wouldn't happen until after the original video came out. Very old engine. As of this video's script writing, his most recent sign of activity was in a status post in December of 2024. Vakama Nova stinks. In the original vision, an edited image of Albert was used, likely due to Felix Shang not being able to find Albert's bases at the time, but he finds this bases eventually. Up 4044. Ferdinand is his favorite character, hence why he got adapted as such. Unknown 283. I don't know if his name has anything to do with this, but in Goro Oasis, I apologize if I butchered that, 283 can be read as either Tsubasa, which means wing, or Hayami, which means quick-seeing. So does this mean his name translates to unknown wing or unknown quick-seeing? I don't know, it could just be a coincidence. Typhoon 6666. Up until writing this script, I had no idea that Typhoon 6666 must have made any Power Rangers related videos, as I do not remember ever seeing any on his channel. I learned this from reading the description of this video by Megazeo. Tugs Fan 12's son. TF12's son is the first character in the Kuno the Tank Engine series to be named after a kid. I do wonder if he ever created his own YouTube account. TTTE stinks.
No, it doesn't.
I originally asked for him to appear as Mr. Percival, but decided instead that Jonathan 140 should get this role. I was honestly not expecting TTTE Stinks to get adapted anyway because of his name, TTTE Lover 001. Felix Shang was unable to get him into his private list at the time. Because of this, he uploaded a separate video showing TTTE Lover 001's image. TRI. TRI, short for The Railway Inspector, is the creator of the character Diesel 9, who appears as one of the antagonists of his fan film, The Narrow Gauge Movie. Train Maniac 1. I first considered Zozo for TM1, but Felix Chang went with Fred the Orange Coal Car instead. Train Mad Paul. According to his current channel name, his real name is Paul Bardill. Trainboy 7. Trainboy 7 currently goes under the name TB7 Studios. Top Kaz Fat. He appears as Hero because they are both from Japan. Tef. Her actual name is not being used because her brother said she would not be happy to see herself as a character in Kuno the Tank Engine, but he never said why. He just said because she wouldn't, and that's it. Thunder. Along with Bailey, Thunder had settled things with Felix Chang before getting adapted into Kuno the Tank Engine. But for some reason, unlike Bailey, Felix Chang didn't tell me this before adapting him. Tom Funk. He wanted his name to be spelled as Tomfunk, but because this username was already taken, he put an H in it. This explains why his new name, Tom Funk Forever, lacks the H within it. Thomas the Killer 2. Thomas the Killer 2 created the character Blockhead. Thomas Sakui. I got the idea of having him appear as Stanley due to Stanley being the most recent character introduced into the television series at the time, while Thomas Sakui was one of the newest users to have joined YouTube at the time. Thomas is lame. No, it isn't. Both his actual name and his censored name adds 2 clones of the last letter of the last word in his username, such as how in his censored name, the word lame is spelled with 3 E's. Thomas Fan 4. Thomas Fan 4 now runs the Twitter account Thomas Tank Merch alongside another Thomas YouTube user, Bill Barman. Thomas Fan 4 is Lewis and Bill Barman is Ricky. ThomasFan08. The original ThomasFan08 is no longer on YouTube, but it does appear there are 4 YouTube channels that call themselves by this name. But I don't think any of them are the same as the original TF08. Thomas and Diesel. He, along with Arthur Fanatic, aka Mike Solo, were the first users to request to appear in Kuno the Tank Engine, rather than be adapted due to trolling. The Toilet Guy 911. For unknown reasons, his image lasts on screen much longer in the original Kuno the Tank Engine series than any other character from this episode. This is the case for both the original and 2014 revision of Generation 1, but it would be balanced out in the 2024 revision, as I was making all these images around the same length within time. I was thinking of adding more characters to this episode, but decided that the existing characters were all that were needed. The Really Messed Up Lame Boys. His actual username was 24 characters long, which is much longer than the 20 character limit YouTube usernames had at the time. This either means his name was from a website that allowed longer usernames, or his username was actually shorter and Felix Chang just chose to extend it. The Real Game Boys. TRGB was the first Kuno the Tank Engine character to have a merchandise video be made about him. The Punk Girl Dogs. If Part 18 is counted, she is the final user with a censored name for Generation 1. The Potty Mouth. A potty mouth is someone who uses bad language. The Jonateers. The Jonateers was the only user to respond to my Kuno the Tank Engine interview for Generation 1 late last year. The Janitor 1993. He was the final user of the first generation before the original Kuno the Tank Engine series was discontinued in 2009. The Devil May Rise 1. Out of all the users who were adapted as the Horrid Lorries, TDMR1 is the one with the longest username. Tencent's O1. Him appearing as Jack the Red Engine is not a coincidence, as Tencent's 01 appears as Jack the Front Loader. Tencent 01. Felix Chang first considered Caroline for Tencent 01, but Tencent 01 didn't like this idea, so he instead becomes Jack. Teen Korea. They are referred to as Fearless Teen Korea since they appear as Fearless Freddy, so adding Fearless at the beginning makes them sound Fearless Freddy-like. TC58. According to a video by Trains Are Cool Too, TC58, aka Toby and Thomas Fan, was the first user within the Thomas the Tank Engine community. Really? Was he? Tasty Treats 668. As Emily wouldn't be given the number 12 until season 24, Tasty Treats 668 would not be shown with this number in the original Kuno the Tank Engine, the 2014 revision, or Generation 2. But she does have this number in the 2024 revision. Sweet Chick 91. Not counting Graham Williams, Sweet Chick 91 was the first Kuno the Tank Engine character to be a gender-swapped version of her character, since she is based on Oliver, who is male. Super Famicom 17. He is shown to have a name board in the original Kuno the Tank Engine despite Leo not having one. This is changed for the 2024 revision. Steve Hanafi. He had once made a video about himself becoming the new owner and restoring YouTube to the way that it used to be. If only that really happened, so none of this nonsense we've gotten from YouTube since then would have ever happened. Steve3605. For some reason, he is depicted as having green paint instead of light blue paint, as he is meant to be the Works Diesel. This would change for the 2024 revision. Stepney55. Stepney55 did not upload anything onto his original YouTube channel, but did eventually do so on a new channel. Unfortunately, I cannot remember what username he had after Stepney55, nor do I know if he still exists on YouTube. Stanier Jack. Stanier Jack's username is likely a reference to the LMS Stanier class engines, the engine that Henry is based on. He even made a character named Stanier based on such a basis. I did want to include Stanier along with 2 other characters named Craig and Doug Ladd in my New Engine slideshow series, but Jack didn't approve of their use. SpamWave87QR. I have no idea if the QR in his name stands for anything. Spammer12. Due to Felix Chang not saving the raw versions of train photos after editing them, and due to Spammer12's raw image coming from a now-ended eBay listing, his raw image is lost media. Slimy Railway. His channel originally showed this thumbnail, which was taken from the first video he uploaded. According to my research, this is actually Captain Scarlet from the show Thunderbirds. Skulls. His username is Skulls Productions, but he is often just called Skulls for short. Skater Andrew 17SS. I think I learned of his name from Steve Hanafy's channel. Scarloey and Peter Sam. Based on my research, his username was likely actually spelled as Scarleo and Peter Sam. Scarloey Anderson. His username is just Scarloey. SJ Official Channel. This version of Sonic Jr. this channel roleplays as is different from the one you know of in my Sonic fanfiction series. Shut Up 223. The user LadySpeedStick17 made a playlist named after this guy, but the playlist has no videos. Shishomi. I learned of his existence from a video by Blade636 about Drew Pickles. Shadowed Galaxy. His original username was Big Thomas Fan, not to be confused with Biggest Thomas Fan, who is a completely separate person. Sagaziggy. The first 4 letters of his name appears to reference the video game company Sega, who created Sonic the Hedgehog. Samurais. According to his channel description, he rarely makes videos because he used to have no camera. However, he only ever made 2 videos and hasn't made any since 2008. Sam. Thomas Tank Lover Sam is from Australia, the same country as Bluey. When working on the script for this video, I discovered he's even made videos about Bluey. That's pretty cool. Sailor Venus Fangirl. Her image is the same one used for Gale in New Engine's episode 18, and Chloe and Zoe in episode 5. Rolf Copter. I believe his original username was Rolfcopter LOL, according to a comment I remember reading a long time ago. If this was the case, he was for whatever reason only ever known as Rolfcopter. Riot. Riot was named after the band Quiet Riot. Rysicus. He created a model train series called Gary the Steam Engine. Sadly, none of the videos he made for that series are up anymore, and no one has re-uploaded them as of 2025. Also, that series was immune to my forced Thomas hiatus due to none of the characters having faces despite being sentient. Ray the Train Engine. He claimed his character looked more like Whiff than it does Thomas. Popple2P. Her image appears to be of a model G62, while FFO's is a real-sized one. Paulo20x6. We both commented on a now-deleted video about Banjo going from the church organ in Banjo-Kazooie to the flume of doom in Banjo-Tooie. Peter File 08. His channel is now called Kevin Hennigan. Perfy. Perfy was chosen to be Percy due to the obvious fact that the only difference between their names is the 4th letter. Oppo29802. Oppo29802 has no record of ever having a YouTube channel. This could mean he either never had one, or his name was slightly misspelled. Only Jason here. His channel thumbnail is the original basic YouTube thumbnail with a happy face added to it. Umgyo WTX. While she wouldn't appear until episode 12, Felix Chang actually drew her as early as episode 10, but didn't include her in that or episode 11 for unknown reasons. Oh, Lawleaf GFTW. He said that if his account was suspended, he would create another one. However, he never came back after his account did get suspended. Nosy94. He is the first character shown winking. North Park Girls. 3 of these girls use the same faces as other characters in the Kuno the Tank Engine series, with 2 sharing their first names. There is Elizabeth Broflowski sharing her name and face with Elizabeth Schneider, Molly McCormick sharing her name and face with Molly Height, and Ava Marsh sharing her face with Edward Number 10. Interestingly, Ava was also the name given to Ava Willickstein, the Otoko engine from New Engine 16, even using the same face. Jennifer Cartman is the odd one out here. Nintendo and Sega Fan 1. For unknown reasons, he appeared twice, first in episode 13 and again in episode 15. In the 2014 revision, only his Part 15 image was used for both episodes due to the Part 13 one getting lost. However, the original Part 13 image was recreated for the 2024 revision, while the Part 15 one doesn't get used. Nick Bigsby. For unknown reasons, Nick does not have any detail on his side in the original Kuno the Tank Engine or the 2014 revision, but he does in the 2024 revision. Nibbles. Nibbles was the first pet to be adapted into Kuno the Tank Engine. Villainy1985. In the original vision, his subtitle was a repeat of his name instead of Blister 2, in parentheses. This was fixed in later versions. Mrs. Brown. Despite my dad being called Eli J. Brown's dad, my mom for some reason was just Eli's mom, in the original Kuno the Tank Engine. This was changed to Eli J. Brown's mom for the 2014 revision. Mr. C. Monkey X.
Monkey!
Mr. C. Monkey X, along with Fireblade RX-7, appear to have the numbers 13 and 14 due to Bill and Ben having these numbers in Felix Chang's headcanon at the time. They do not have them in the 2024 revision or Generation 2, however. Mr. Brown. My dad was the first character in the Kuno the Tank Engine series to be a parent of a YouTube user. Molly Height. While Felix Chang made up her name, it appears there is a real person with the name Molly Height who is a fiction writer. I know this is just a coincidence, but I couldn't think of anything else to say about this character. Minority06. Every consonant in his username is capitalized while every vowel in his name is lowercase. Mike Solo. His surname is a reference to the Star Wars character Han Solo. MetalNat111. There is a Twitter user and a Nexus Mods user that goes by the name MetalNat111, but it is unknown if one or both of these is the same as the MetalNat111 who is on YouTube. Mega Mario 20. His channel name is now called PHM Heart Guitars, but no longer has any Mario-related videos as I remember once seeing. Man United 2007. His adaptation as Hank was inspired by the presence of United in his name and how Hank is from the United States. Luke.
There can't be two.
Yes, there can. Don't do this again. Luke's username was Luke Canisdale, but Felix Chang just called him Luke. Luigi23466. He is the only Horrid Lorry to have a number in the original and the 2014 revision of Generation 1. But in the 2024 revision and Generation 2, all 3 Horrid Lorries would have their numbers. Luigi2346. His name is Eli too. Lore's Lover. He wanted to appear as Charlie in Eli the Tank Engine, but that character was already taken. But not so for Kuno the Tank Engine. Link the Hero 13. Much like Nintendo and Sega Fan 1, Link the Hero 13 appeared in 2 episodes in the original version of Kuno the Tank Engine, these being Episode 7 and Episode 9, though unlike Nintendo and Sega Fan 1, Link the Hero 13 only had 1 image. For what reason he appeared twice is not known, whether that be because Felix Chang forgot that he had already included him, or thought that it would be very fitting to have him appear alongside Tencent 01, as they appeared as Alfie and Jack respectively. Link! He's so hungry, he could eat an Octorok.
Know what I mean?
El Greeno. El Greeno was the first Kuno the Tank Engine character to be based on a fan character. Legendary Dark Slayer 2. She's the first user adapted as a VeggieTales character to start an episode. Lee Claxton. From recent searches, there appears to be a lot of channels by the name Lee Claxton, but none of them can be the one who appeared in Kuno the Tank Engine, because this Lee Claxton existed in 2007, and the Lee Claxtons I found existed later than those. It appears as though this Lee Claxton doesn't exist anymore. LexKid 275. While I am not positive, I believe that the image used for LexKid 275 is supposed to be LexKid 275 himself. Like, this is supposed to be a screenshot from one of his videos. But as his channel no longer exists, I can't confirm this. Law of the Sun. His channel is now called Food for Thoughts, and none of the videos I remember seeing on his channel are there anymore.
I wonder what's for dinner.
Laura. Out of the 3 users who appeared as mountain engines adapted directly from the Railway series to have real names, Laura is the only one to be adapted as a character who didn't get any official merchandise. Kuno. Kuno is named after Ranma 1.5 character Taitsutiwaki Kuno. I apologize if I butchered that. Kphoria. Despite approving of appearing in Kuno the Tank Engine, he has never made any videos about Thomas the Tank Engine. KOTOR Fan DS. Felix Chang knew about this user as early as 2007, but never adapted them into Kuno the Tank Engine for unknown reasons. Kudachi Ranko. Kudachi Ranko was named after Ranma 1.5 characters Kudachi Kuno and Ranko, aka Ranma Saisotomi. I again apologize if I butchered those names. King Spam 78. He is based on a Norimbi engine in Generation 1, but in Generation 2, he is based on Captain Baxter. King Shadowtooth. He wanted to appear as a black and red engine. Too bad he didn't get Jimmy. And no, I'm not going to swap them. Kevin77. According to his channel description, his real name begins with the letter L, but there is nothing that says what his actual name is that I could find. Katie. Katie, aka GP's sister, did have a YouTube account according to Gordon Productions. However, she had forgotten her password. Though why she didn't just create another account or use the I forgot password feature is a bit unknown. Maybe she just didn't know that she could do either of these things. Karen. She is the only female mountain engine to be adapted as a character from the Railway series to get official merchandise. Can Niched Kind. His name is German for Can't Child. Jonathan 140. He was the first user to surpass Felix Chang with how many episodes of his New Engine slideshow series he had. Too bad none of them are up anymore. John. John Milton Erie was eventually revealed to be Gordon Productions pretending to be his brother who doesn't even exist. I was quite shocked when he eventually told me this. JD Guara. His current channel name is Jake D. This must mean that his full name is Jake D. Guara. James the Red Engine 1. Out of the Sodor and Mainland Railway engines in episode 17, this was the only one to be a surprise to me. Jack. Jack was named after Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean. I never care. I initially thought his name was pronounced In Ever Care. I asked Felix Chang to confirm this, and he says it's pronounced I Never Care. Iku Santinoka. Along with Elizabeth Schneider, Iku is not depicted with nameboards in the original versions of Generation 1, but is in the 2024 revision. Hogbait66. Some people believe that his reason for leaving was because of a video a certain troll had made about him, but it was actually because he wanted to follow a music career. Thankfully, he eventually returned. Hamhead Hamilton. His channel is now called Chase Hamilton, while his URL is ChaseHamilton69. Hail Nico Yasha. She is the first DeviantArt exclusive user to appear in Kuno the Tank Engine. Gun Fever. I think somebody said that he was dead at some point. I am not sure if this means dead in real life or just dead over the internet. If anybody knows, let me know. GTPS2. He was the final user who had done New Engine slideshow videos to be adapted during the original generation. Great Way Round. I discovered this username from looking at the comments on Slimy Railway's video. Graham Williams. Graham created Thomas the Chav Engine, an adult parody to Thomas the Tank Engine. Gilbert. Gilbert was the first character in Kuno the Tank Engine to die. George Miser. He and Jonathan 140 have the same birthday. Froggy 1234. Given how he is based on 16, the number 1234 is shown instead of 16. Free Pokemon XXX. Prior to suggesting Korra for them, I had no idea that Korra was even a character who existed in the Railway series, or at least I didn't know her name. Forget Thomas the Train. I think that some Thomas fan eventually revealed that this was just him with a sock puppet account. Forget France Official. For unknown reasons, he lacks a nameboard despite Popple2Peep having hers. This is fixed in the 2024 revision. Force44 is a fool. Force44 is a fool's username was not censored in the original Kuno the Tank Engine 4, but was on MAJ Host, in both my revisions and in Generation 2. Voduk is hot. She was my first female friend on YouTube. Flying Pyrogue 1. I was considering adding him as Paul in my Eli the Tank Engine series, but he chose Winston instead. Based on some circumstances that happened since then, I adapted him into Kuno the Tank Engine, now as Paul. Floyd Whatpliz. I think he had a lot of Floyd insert word here accounts, but this was the only one I ever heard from. Flex Cabana BXW. His Generation 1 image's raw form was for a long time lost on the internet, but was found in 2025 by wiki user Arted Taiwan. Fireblade RX7. Did you guys think his name was pronounced Fireblader X7? Well, if you check out his channel, you can see the letter R is capitalized. This either means it is not meant to be Fireblader X7, or the letter R is capitalized by mistake. Felix Chang. When Felix Chang had done his own Thomas the Tank Engine episodes, rather than using his own voice to do narrations, he would instead use a computer program voice called Natural Reader to do the narrations. Fearless Thomas 12. The reason I chose to adapt him as Captain is due to the presence of Fearless in his name, and that I think Captain is pretty fearless. Farlak 907. Farlak 907 was known for requesting the ILAX Railway engines for Felix Chang's New Engine slideshow series, coming up with the first 32 engines. Every ILAX Railway engine after the first 32 were requested by me, as Farlak 907 was gone from YouTube by then. Emily Trash 79. His actual username had 2 of the last letter of the second word in his username, but Felix Chang spelled it as if it only had 1. This is also the case for his censored name, El Tigre X Flame. His name appears to reference the El Tigre characters El Tigre and Flamma Dama. Elmo Llama. He is the first user whose name references a Sesame Street character. Elizabeth Snyder. When asked about her namesake, Felix Chang said she was probably named after Elizabeth the Vintage Truck, but it could just be a randomly selected name. Eli J. Puff. This is the only name he has that is appropriate. Eli J. Brown. I currently hold the record of the most New Engine Slideshow videos within one series with 80 episodes. I wonder who will be the first to reach 81 videos. EIIJ Brown. He went offline for a whole year before returning, surprisingly. Edward Number 10. His username was actually Edward Number 2. Felix Chang changed the 2 to a 10 so he would sound more Diesel 10-like. Edward. Edward's username is Edward the Blue Engine 2. Eddie Rules. Eddie Rules was the namesake for Rail Pony's Kuno the Tank Engine inspired series, Eddie the Tank Engine. Drew. He is the final fictional character to be adapted in Generation 1, including or excluding Part 18. Don't Know It 62. His username was not censored on his nameboard in the original Kuno the Tank Engine despite it being censored in the text. But in the revisions and Generation 2, it would all be censored. Dom. The identity of Dom has been a mystery for a long time. Felix Chang said his username was Nightwolf Winter 2, but the latter says otherwise. DieselFan50. His channel name is now Scar Louie. Dick. Dick was named after a character who had often appeared in Ponage videos people had made at the time. Diamond Thomas. While his real name is Sam, he prefers the nickname Dash. Dark Slug. When trying to search for the raw images, I asked Felix Chang for help, but he couldn't find the raw image for Dark Slug. However, I was able to find it myself. Dark Pumpkin X. I mostly knew him as Mr. Superfinger. Crazy Teddy X. In Generation 2, he was given blue eyes to match with how in Tyne Sinsetti's Thomas Fenn film Tobias and the Half Pariah, Duck, known as Montague in this movie, which is Duck's canonical real name by the way, he had these big blue eyes. Cody1726. His channel is now called Carnage Knife Sharpening. Chris J94. He was the first user to have the initial J within his name, followed by J.D. Guara and Eli J. Brown, as well as the 2 Eli J. Brown knockoffs. Chris Thompson. Chris is the first user to be adapted into Kuno the Tank Engine to be LGBT. Chaz. For unknown reasons, Betty and Phyllis were skipped over. Originally, at least. Catherine Fan 32. In the original vision, his name was incorrectly spelled as Katrin Fan 23, but this would be corrected in all later versions. Catalano Arts. His username appears to suggest that he is a fan of art made in Spain, or someone by the name of Catalano. I wish I knew. Captain Crucial. The image used for him was previously used for Eddie the Helicopter in Felix Chang's 13th New Engine Slideshow video. Camel Bully. None of his G1 depictions show him with his nameboard on his side, as Cranky does, but his Generation 2 version does. I think I forgot this for the 2024 revision. Caboose 902DD. During my research, I had found out that there are some cabooses that are given the number 902, or at least there's one caboose that has the number 902. As for what the DD stands for, I don't know if it stands for anything. Bully Sucker 950. The ironic thing about him appearing as Old Slow Coach is that while Old Slow Coach is a female character in the original English dubs, this character is male in the Spanish, Czech, Polish, Russian, German, and Finnish dubs. So this is a gender-swapped character for English, but not for these other languages. Buizel56638. This is the first user to reference a Pokemon character. Bubblebutt13. Felix Shang never uploaded his image onto MAJ Host. He emailed me the image, so that's why I have it. BRMX Skate 27. The image for BRMX Skate 27 shows a lever that people can use to open up the trash can by putting their foot down onto it. Despite the fact that Felix Chang's image of Dave the Trash Can in the main Thomas the Tank Engine continuity is just that of a normal metal trash can. Boxhead Freak. He and Wooden Train Fan 3 are brothers, just as Bluebell and Primrose are sisters. Bossy Engine's brother. While not the final sibling of a user to be adapted into the Kuno the Tank Engine series, he is the final one to just be referred to as the brother or sister of the YouTube user they are related to, rather than by either his real name or his username. Bossy Engine. Although he had multiple usernames, only his first 3 had the name Bossy Engine in them. Bossy Engine is Sorry, and Bossy Engine 3. Borak1111. Borak1111 does not have a face in the original Kuno the Tank Engine or in the 2014 revision, but does in Generation 2 and the 2024 revision. Black Moon UK. Black Moon UK is the 100th user to appear in Kuno the Tank Engine. Billy806. His real name is either Billy Al-Alawi or Ibrahim Al-Alawi. Biggest Thomas fan. He is now known as MillyFan92 on DeviantArt. Big Barney fan. Big Barney fan is the only user in the Kuno the Tank Engine series to reference Barney the dinosaur. And let's hope that he remains the only one. Ben Hutchinson 1. His name was originally misspelled as Ben Hudson 1 in the original Part 15, but this was fixed for later versions. Bananas are good 45.
We don't accept bananas as payment.
Apart from being mentioned in Edward the Blue Engine 2's channel description, there doesn't appear to be any record of this user anywhere. Bailey. He actually settled things with Felix Chang at some point before getting adapted, but it appears there was some controversy over the MAJ Host upload, resulting in his name getting censored for identity reasons. Baby Burton. The image used for him is the same as the image used for Gromit and Wallace the Brake Fans from episode 5 of Felix Chang's New Engine Slideshow series. Awesome Lay Sliker. ALS's raw G1 image is currently unavailable as of 2025. It is not known if it still exists on the internet. Argantosaurus. He is lacking the mustache in the original and 2014 revision, but gains one for the 2024 revision. Anthony. His username, Donald the Scottish Twin, only has one T in the word Scottish instead of 2. This is because, at the time, YouTube usernames could only go up to 20 characters, and if Donald the Scottish Twin was spelled with 2 T's, that would be 1 letter over the limit. I'm guessing he tried to have it be Donald the Scottish Twin with 2 T's, but when he saw that the letter N in the word twin didn't show up, he had to take out 1 T. Ensign06. Ensign06 is not depicted with makeup, likely because he is a male version of Daisy. Anonymous383. Lots of users agreed that Anonymous383 deserved to appear in Kuno the Tank Engine, but this didn't happen until Generation 2 and the eventual fan-created Part 18 in 2024. Annie. She was the first sister of a YouTube user to not be referred to as such. Alligator7989. His name is incorrectly spelled with only one L in Generation 2. All-American B0Y9. I have suspicion that he and Eli J. Puff are the same person. The latter has neither confirmed or denied this. Alex. Alex, also known as Rail Pony, had uploaded some videos that had shifted over time. According to him, this was due to old files acting differently on YouTube. Adam. The reason he was adapted was because he said that he had a YouTube account, but he couldn't remember what it was. 69Chris96. Due to Thumper having no real basis, both 69Chris96's Generation 1 and Generation 2 images is just Thumper with an edited name board. And 40445, he is the only character in Kuno the Tank Engine Generation 1 whose name is just numbers. Okay, this certainly was quite an experience for me, especially since I did have a bit of trouble coming up with some things to say about each of these users. So I figured that at this point in this video, similar to what Unlucky Tug has done in his videos, I will be giving some shoutouts to a number of different users who have been following me, and I have also been checking out all throughout the more recent years. Well, for starters, there is the Unlucky Tug, who had inspired me to do a video such as this one with his one fact about every Thomas and Friends episodes. So if you guys have not checked out his channel yet, I suggest that you do so. And I think that I will also give a bit of a shout out to Andres the Cartoon Fan Productions 2025. He had made a Thomas and Friends New Engine slideshow video just some short time ago. So it is good to see that the New Engine slideshow videos are still going strong even after all of this time. So it's good to see that someone else has started a new Engine slideshow series. And speaking of New Engine slideshow series, I will also give a shout out to Thomas Tank Boys, who had created one episode of a New Engine slideshow series, or my made up Thomas and Friends characters video that he has made. He never made an appearance in any episode of Kuno the Tank Engine, and he also never did a series that was inspired by Kuno the Tank Engine. But something that is worth noting about his video is that it has survived much longer on YouTube than even any videos that Felix Chang had ever made. That video was posted sometime back in 2007, and it is still uploaded today. It is not a re-upload. The upload that exists currently is the same one that existed all the way back in 2007. He even pointed this out when he looked over the wiki page that I had made for that video, and he was just amazed by just how much time has passed by since that original video had been uploaded, and given as to how it was able to survive much longer than most other videos that were posted around the same time. And I am also going to be giving a shout out to Blake Hawkins, who has done some Fan Fiction Friday videos where she reads some fan fiction that some people have written. And as of this video's recording, she has done 2 My Little Pony fan fictions that I have written. She did a read-along of Diamond Tiara's Gala and The Anthros. So I suggest that you go and check out her channel for those videos, as well as some other videos that she has posted, reading over some fanfiction that other people have made. Another user that I would like to give a shout out to would be Tenjin WP. He has done a number of different fan-created Thomas and Friends episodes in the Season 1 style, as well as some Season 2 style. They are pretty impressive, and he did a pretty good job with those episodes, capturing the classic feel of Thomas the Tank Engine. This is certainly what we need as a good alternative to the dreadful All Engines Go series. This is pretty much how modern Thomas the Tank Engine should be like, so if you want to check out something like what Thomas should be now, I recommend his channel. And I think that just about does it for this video. I do apologize if I didn't give any of you guys a shout out if you have been following me for quite a long time. And overall, I hope that you are all doing pretty well after all of this time over the course of 17 years, soon to be 18 years. It will officially be my 18th year on YouTube by the end of August. It certainly is crazy how much time has passed. And I certainly remember a lot of things that have happened with a lot of these users all the way back then. It is just quite a roller coaster of an experience. I don't think that I will ever forget most of the things that had happened all the way back then. So thank you all so much, and I will see you in my next video.